let's talk about something that holds so many of us back. That little voice in our heads, the fear of not being good enough. Today, we're going to explore how to silence that voice, how to embrace the mess, and how to finally unlock the incredible things you're meant to do. So let's just get right to it with a big question. That perfect version of your goal, you know the one? The one that's so flawless and so intimidating that you never even start? What if I told you that standard you're holding yourself to? Well, what if it isn't even real? And this idea right here, this is the whole game. If you're terrified of that awkward, clumsy, messy beginning phase, you're basically slamming the door on ever becoming great. It's a trap we set for ourselves, and today we are going to find the key. All right, so first things first, let's really define the problem here. What exactly is this prison of perfection? And more importantly, how do we end up building the walls around ourselves without even realizing it? Ugh, this is a feeling so many of us know, right? You're waiting to feel ready, waiting to feel good enough, and while you wait, you feel stuck. It's kind of like being a wood carver who finds one tiny crack in a sculpture and then spends years trying to fix it, instead of just grabbing a new piece of wood and making something new. It feels noble, but pretty soon, it just becomes this heavy weight that stops you from ever creating again. I mean, wow, this reframes everything, doesn't it? We're taught to think of perfectionism as this badge of honor, a sign of high standards. But what if it's not? What if it's just a really, really clever excuse? A very sophisticated way our brains have come up with to hide from the scary, vulnerable act of actually doing the work. There's this great little story that just hits this point home perfectly. It's a simple parable about two potters, and it beautifully lays out the difference between chasing perfection and actually, learning something. So on one side, you've got Alara. She is incredibly talented, but her workshop, it's spotless, silent. Her shelves are totally empty. Why? Because the second she sees the tiniest flaw in one of her pots, she crushes it right back into a lump of clay. Then, right next door, there's the apprentice. His workshop is an absolute mess, filled with lopsided, weird-looking pots. But his hands are always covered in clay. He's always working. And with every single mistake, he's learning how the clay feels, how it moves. Alara is a prisoner of her own standards, but the apprentice, he's a student of the craft. And this is where it all clicks into place. A moment of truth arrives that changes not just the story, but how we should probably be looking at our own work, too. So, picture this. The great master of the guild comes to visit. Now, you'd think he'd make a beeline for Alara's perfect, pristine workshop, right? But he doesn't. He walks right past her door and heads straight for the apprentice's messy studio. The one that's just cluttered with all those so-called failures. And this is what the master says. The potter who is willing to make 100 bad pots is the only one who will ever truly understand the clay. Just let that sink in for a second. Perfection is an idea, but understanding, that only comes from doing. The only way to get to mastery is to be willing to create a huge pile of imperfect stuff along the way. So what this teaches us is that the struggle, the mistakes, all those lopsided pots, they are not signs that you're failing. They are the process. They are the path itself. Every single oops or that didn't work builds a layer of genuine understanding you just can't get from thinking or planning alone. Okay, so that's the why. We get it. But now for the how. How do we actually apply this stuff when we're staring at a blank page or an empty canvas? Well, here is a super practical 3-step toolkit to get you going. This whole system is designed to reward one thing and one thing only: effort, not results. So, step 1, the 10-minute mess. Seriously, set a timer for 10 minutes and give yourself total permission to do it badly. The goal is to make a mess. Step 2, close the window. Forget about what anyone else will think. Just you and the work. No audience allowed. And finally, step 3, the Today I Showed Up log. At the end of the day, the only question you ask is, did I try? If the answer is yes, you won. That's it. That's the victory. All right, to wrap all of this up, I want to leave you with one last beautiful idea, a metaphor that might just change how you see your own imperfections for good. Imagine a water pot that has a long crack running down its side. Every single day for 2 years, as it's carried from the stream, it leaks. It only ever delivers half its water, and it feels like a total failure, just deeply ashamed of this flaw that it can't fix. But then one day, the master points something out. He says, look at the path. On the side where the perfect pot was carried, the ground is just dry and bare. But on the cracked pot side, there's this incredible, vibrant line of beautiful flowers, watered every single day by that very same flaw. And that is what this is all about, isn't it? Your so-called mistakes, your cracks, the things you might be embarrassed or ashamed of, they're not always failures. Sometimes they are the very things watering a unique and beautiful path in your life, creating something amazing that you can't even see yet. So I'll leave you with this challenge. Forget about being good, forget about being ready. What is one thing, just one, that you can give yourself permission to start totally and perfectly today?
If you enjoyed this video, please give it a like. And don't forget to subscribe and hit the notification bell.